Heading: Ecological resources. First point: assess the loss of forest cover due to the project. Second point: evaluate impacts on trees and vegetation. Third point: recommend compensatory afforestation. Side heading: Fisheries. First point: assess impacts on fish habitats and aquatic life. Second point: evaluate changes in water quality affecting fisheries. Third point: suggest measures to protect fish resources. Side heading: Coral reefs. First point: assess damage to coral reef ecosystems in coastal projects. Second point: evaluate impacts of pollution and sedimentation. Third point: recommend conservation and protection measures. Side heading: Wildlife. First point: assess impacts on wildlife habitats and biodiversity. Second point: identify disturbance to animal movement and breeding. Third point: suggest wildlife protection and habitat restoration measures. Heading: Human use values. Side heading: Water supply. First point: assess the impact on drinking water sources. Second point: evaluate water availability for communities. Third point: recommend sustainable water management. Side heading: Navigation. First point: assess impacts on waterways used for transportation. Second point: evaluate obstruction to navigation. Third point: suggest measures to ensure safe movement. Side heading: Land use. First point: assess changes in agricultural, residential, and commercial land. Second point: evaluate land acquisition and displacement issues. Third point: recommend proper land use planning. Heading: Quality of life values. Side heading: Socioeconomic. First point: assess employment opportunities created by the project. Second point: evaluate impacts on income, livelihood, and local communities. Third point: recommend measures for social welfare and rehabilitation. Side heading: Archaeological/historical. First point: assess impacts on heritage monuments and archaeological sites. Second point: protect culturally significant locations. Third point: recommend conservation measures. Side heading: Aesthetics. First point: assess the visual impact of the project. Second point: evaluate changes to landscape beauty. Third point: recommend landscaping and beautification. Side heading: Human health. First point: assess health impacts due to pollution and waste. Second point: evaluate risks from air, water, and noise pollution. Third point: Recommend public health and safety measures. Heading: Post-project monitoring. Side heading: Purpose. First point: monitor environmental impacts after project implementation. Second point: ensure compliance with environmental clearance conditions. Third point: verify the effectiveness of mitigation measures. Fourth point: detect unforeseen environmental problems. Fifth point: take corrective actions whenever required. Sixth point: submit regular environmental monitoring reports to regulatory authorities. Heading: limitations of EIA in Indian context. Side heading: limitations. First point: lack of reliable environmental data. Second point: poor quality and incomplete EIA reports. Third point: short time available for detailed assessment. Fourth point: inadequate public participation. Fifth point: weak monitoring and enforcement after project approval. Sixth point: shortage of trained environmental experts. Seventh point: political and economic pressures may influence decisions. Eighth point: poor coordination among government departments. Ninth point: environmental clearance is sometimes treated as a formality. 10th point: limited consideration of cumulative environmental impacts.